ZZ109FM, this is Elsie Jenkins. Oh my goodness. Hopefully you're out there having a survival of the fittest kind of year in 2026. You're alive, you're surviving, and that's where we are right now. We're alive and surviving. Oh my goodness. Uh, First of all, we have to look in the mirror and we have to realize we are truly, truly blessed to be here on this planet. There are so many people that are not here that was here last year or the year before or the year before, the year before that. So many people that are not here today. It was right in our grasp just recently. Not here today. So to be here, to be present, we have to really appreciate the moment. Um, I don't know where I was on the planet when some of these things happened because I'm going back and taking a look in time. But this particular show is it's probably the saddest show I've ever done. And it's gonna be an honest show. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything on this show. I'm not going to point the finger at every person on this planet because we know good people and we know bad people. And it doesn't matter what color you are because your ethnicity, your race of people has good people and bad people. This is common sense. We know everybody's not a bad person. You go in the Bible, you see good people and you see bad people. This is the makeup of the human race. With that being said, the bad people. If I call you out, it's because it's you who's done something. I don't think it matters whether you're white or black. But if I'm specific to who you are and what you've done, then I'm upset at who you are and what you've done. It doesn't paint a picture for the rest of your people because I know that every person on this planet is not a bad person. I know this. Anybody with common sense and a connection to God knows this. This story right here, I didn't know anything about this story. Um, and I came across it. I think God has a reason for us to be on this planet, and me sitting here putting together this information. There's a reason for it. There's a purpose for it. If I missed it, I know other people on the planet missed it. So that's why I brought the story back up. Um, it's a sad story. It is because these children could have been any one of us. This could have been any time in our lifetime. And if we were not fortunate to be able to have a parents or a single parent and be in this realm of adoption, this could have been any one of us. Now, how I found this story out initially was this first lady. Uh, Recently now, this woman pulled a gun from her fanny pack, which is like a little bag if you don't damn know, and threatened to shoot children dead on the playground. Now, this ain't a mental health show, but if you know about mental health, you'll realize that a lot of times it's either drugs or mental illness that causes a lot of people to lash out the way that they do. No ands, ifs, and buts about it. Um, and sometimes we gotta say that some people are just crazy. I think that's cornerstone in the mental health, nonetheless. But a crazy person is what they are, crazy. Yes, this first lady is a white lady. Not saying all white people are crazy, but in your race of people, you have some people with issues. It's not a mystery. You can go back in history and you can see this. It's rampant in your people. This is not singling out white people because black people have these situations and so do other races. But today we're talking about some white people. Tomorrow we could be talking about some black people. The point is everybody gets their chance to reveal their crazy side, nonetheless. So this is a red flag, number one. And law enforcement protective services, all these different agencies that greet this information. When you miss the red flags, the indicators that not only is this a person, situational person of interest, this person also needs to be put on a watch list. Because if they've lashed out once, they're going to lash out again. I've been on this planet many years and I have not lashed out once and done something like this woman has done. Threatened to shoot children dead. Anyone that threatens to shoot children dead at a playground has something wrong with them. Because number one, they're not your children. And how would you feel if someone shot your children dead? Is this what we do to each other on the planet? No, it's not. So for anyone to come up with this statement and actually have a weapon on them, red flag. All day long. And the problem with these agencies is they don't follow through. You get the opportunity to grasp this person, put them in handcuffs. There's no rehabilitating these people. Number one, there's no rehabilitation. If you've gone to a point where you're going to bring out your gun and shoot children dead on the playground, there's no rehabilitation. Stop saying that you can fix a person. Stop it, because once a person has crossed this line, there is no point of return. This mindset will come back whenever it comes back, however it comes back. These are called warning signs. Warning signs. And the shameful part is, in the training of the law enforcement and protective services, you guys aren't training for the next level to stop future situations. You're training to attack the situation once it gets in your presence. And then once it's out of your presence, it's no longer my problem. So I found this information about this lady at the playground. And her name is Ashley Nicole Maxwell, 31 years young. She's not no old person, and she's not no young person. So 31 years old means that you should have enough intelligence and enough experience on the earth to know that shooting children is wrong. No excuse for her age. She pulled a gun out at the children in the Columbian Park and threatened to lighten the child up or children up, even claimed that she would blow up the park. So, and she had a weapon with her. So, she received multiple charges for intimidation with a deadly weapon, unlawful firearm possession, criminal recklessness, driving while suspended, of course. You drivers out there. We had a show about that. Driving while suspended. Possession of marijuana. See, now there's your red flag, number 2. You see, I've come across some people that have got into that synthetic marijuana and the regular marijuana, but the synthetic marijuana, that's the one that changes your mindset, changes your intellectual thinking forever, not temporarily, forever. This person that was on or given. Now, this is the situation sometimes. These people around you that have this marijuana, you rub them the wrong way and they'll slip you some synthetic marijuana. And the synthetic marijuana is just to get back at your ass because they know once you take this, it's going to hit you one way or the other. It's either not going to do anything to you or it's going to turn you into a fool forever. You're going to see things. You're going to be out of control. No one can reason with you. Imagine taking a smoke and now you're now a permanent fool, permanently out of control, and can no longer be reasoned with over a smoke. Well, these same people, once they get involved with this marijuana and anything that happens to them when they do the synthetic marijuana, they still have to be mothers and fathers and single mothers, single fathers, and raise children and go to the park with their kids and go to take their kids to the school. They still have to try to function in this mode. And if you look at this situation right here, you want to ask yourself, did she get a hold of something that is causing her to be on this negative edge? Because you can look at them and you won't be able to tell these things by just looking at a person. It's their actions that's going to help you realize that something's wrong here. And if you never did marijuana, then that's one thing. But if you did marijuana and now you're running around talking about you're going to blow up a playground, I'm no dummy. You're no dummy. You done got a hold of something. And now it has twisted your whole reality and thinking forever. Some of these people that have got this synthetic marijuana are walking around in your city talking to themselves. Some of the young people think it's funny to give it to some homeless person in the street free. But you see, those are the people out there walking around talking to themselves, seeing things. Synthetic marijuana. Investigation and evidence. Police recovered a handgun, ammunition, and firearm accessories at a residence. After obtaining a search warrant, she was held with $220,000 bond and will appear in court in July. This mental health issue is one that we have to address, because if she goes to court in July and her lawyer makes her look like she is just so sorry. She is so sorry for the things she's done. Oh my goodness. And she will do her community service, serve her time, and this, that, and the other. That don't mean nothing, because you haven't addressed the internal issue that made her go into a park and want to shoot children and blow up the playground. You've crossed the line once you've said these things. That's a big red flag that there's something else underlying going on within you. And apologizing is not going to fix it. Apologizing is not going to fix it. So I ran across that story, and then another story popped up, because I was just looking for some stories, to kind of push out here, to kind of make people aware that, I always tell people, look over your shoulder, watch your back, because this is what you have to worry about. People with their guns walking around with some crazy ass mindset. And you don't know what the mindset is, but it's not to come there and protect you if someone tries to assault you. They have some internal mental things going on. And they could snap at any moment. So you got to be careful when you run your mouth off at people today, because you're not sure what mental state they're in. And fanny pack, you can't see a gun in a fanny pack. You say something to a person they don't like, and they'll pull that gun out their fanny pack and shoot you straight in your head. Won't think nothing of it. Well, God is amazing, because after I looked this story up, another story popped up. And this story right here, this is the saddest thing I done heard. This is the saddest thing I done heard. I'm not going to say I'm a weak person when it comes to hearing sadness, but this got me. This really got me, because it lets me know that there's some evil people on this planet. Some very evil people. Not to say that one specific race is evil. I'm saying that each race has their percentage of evil people. If you look at this photo right here, you look at this photo, you see you and me. You see you and me. At one time, we were 9 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, 13 years old, 14 years old, 15 years old. Young, with ambition, wanting to do things, wanting to be something. But one thing, I don't know if I can speak for anyone else, but one thing I know is that I had a family structure. I was blessed to at least have a mother and father. And I was blessed to at least have a mother and father that stayed with me and didn't send me away for adoption. Adoption can happen in many ways. It isn't just parents sending you away. You could just be unlucky at birth and find yourself in this adoptive system that we have in America. But this system, I believe, is the most irresponsible of all systems that we have. We've got a lot of different areas for assistance and help, but this one is just the most irresponsible. The most irresponsible that we have available in the United States. And after you hear this story, you'll understand why. So you see this picture here. You've got girls, 3 girls and 2 boys. And if you look at the 2 parents, foster parents, two white ladies, two white women in a relationship. Um, it's and let's just be real. We have to we have to be able to give respect to these young people, because if all you have if all you have is 19 years maximum to enjoy this planet, and this situation happened back in 2018. 2018, not very long ago. In 2028, it'll be 10 years. So you're looking at a 29-year-old, 24-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 25-year-olds. They be in their 20s, you know, trying to make it like everybody else on the planet, trying to survive and provide. That's what we all do. Um, but their lives were cut short, and it wasn't because of something that they had done. It wasn't because of a natural disaster. Their lives were cut short because of these two white women. And if you don't like the fact that I'm narrowing and zeroing in on who these two people are, then you're listening to the wrong damn show. Because these are two white women raising black children. These two white women took the lives of these 5 black children. Now you're saying, how they take the lives of them? Well, we're going to get to that. But let me tell you something. The first story about the lady at the playground was the same situation with these two women. These two women that took the time to get these children and adopt them. Now, let me tell you something. These people out here adopt these children for money. Not to be good parents, because if you could do this without the money, you would do it without the money. But a lot of people's motivators to adopt kids is to get that check. And you can remember, they're going to get a check for each child. You do your homework on this couple, because I'm not going to go into all the details with them. I think you need to read this specifics on your own. I'm giving you the meat, but the potatoes you can read on your own, because it's a slow, heartbreaking process. Just like that lady at the playground. If they don't stop her in July from ever going out in public, she could be the next person to take the lives of innocent black or white children. She could, because they don't catch this mental issue in July. These white women, Sarah and Jennifer Hart. Sarah and Jennifer married, and overall they had adopted 6 children. 6. They took the lives of these 6 children. And it's amazing, because initially I thought it was 5, but it's 6. They're all in this picture. Beautiful, beautiful human beings. You know, evil. Evil. Look at the smiles on Sarah and Jennifer. Would you even consider someone in this picture driving off of a cliff with all 6 of these children in the car, off of a cliff in California which drops into the ocean? Do you believe that they would do something like this? Look at the smiles on their face. Evil can smile at you and not give you any indicator that it is right there present, right there present in your grasp. Now, this couple got in trouble earlier, just like the lady at the playground. They got in trouble earlier. And in 2011, Sarah Hart pleaded guilty to domestic assault in Douglas County, Minnesota. Excuse me. She told authorities she let her anger get out of control while spanking her 6-year-old daughter. The family often took spontaneous road trips to camp, hike, travel, festivals, and other events. And what's amazing about one of the kids, Devontae, photographed with a police officer, hugging a police officer. They were taking these kids to events at the Ferguson shooting. Just playing a role. It's almost like an active acting part you're playing as an adoptive parent. Let's take the black children to black situations. In the meanwhile, in that 2011 situation, they also were neglecting these children. They weren't eating. And what was amazing about this was that law enforcement and protective services on that side of the planet didn't pick up on this situation. If they had, they should have removed all these children from their possession. They had no right and no reasoning for having these children after that first situation. No one picked up on it. All this college-educated people in protective services, and if you ever walk around in protective services, you'll see a bunch of cocky, smart-ass, alecky people that think they know everything about what's right for your children. But they're no smarter. They're no smarter than anybody else on this planet. Just arrogant. If you were so smart, you would see these red flags and you would immediately put things in process to remove these children from the presence of anyone like Sarah and Jennifer Hart. There should be no second chances in adoption. When your adoptive parents show any type of abuse or neglect, that's it. You're done. You're done, and the system doesn't need you. There should be zero tolerance there, and it's not zero tolerance. Now, what these two ladies did was they moved away. They escaped the current organizational law enforcement and protective services that were catching up to the ghastly deeds that they were doing to these children. They were getting closer and closer to revealing what was going on. But these two white ladies, who were just having situational issues that most parents have, trying to be parents, no, they purposely were creating these situations and decided, let's move away to a whole new level of law enforcement and protective services to start fresh. See, that was their idea of getting a fresh slate, a fresh start. Now, when we roll into this new city, we'll look like the perfect family. Meanwhile, nothing changes in the way that they're treating these children. Nothing changes. They successfully move away, and they keep doing the same thing that they're doing. Well, these children, see, this is the thing about their conduct. These children aren't little 9-year-olds, little 8-year-olds. You can manipulate 7-year-olds. But see, these children are getting older and up in age. And they're coming to terms that what I'm dealing with is not right. That's that integrity thing. What I'm dealing with is not right. So one of these kids gets to the point and goes to the neighbor's house. And this was Hannah, one of the girls. And she went over there and she told the neighbor some things about what was going on, what she was dealing with. I'm not blaming the neighbors, because one thing about being a neighbor that I don't like is the fact that we want to be so isolated from the next neighbor and the one across from us. When a child from a neighbor's house comes to your house and tells you some not so good things about the parents and what they're doing to them, the first thing you want to not say to yourself is, I don't want to get involved. It's not my problem. Because these 6 children may have still been alive if those neighbors would have said, okay, you're not going back over there until I figure out what the hell is going on. And I'm calling the police right now. That's the reaction we need to have. It could be nothing, or it could be something. But children just don't come over to your house, knock on your door, and tell you that someone across the street is abusing them. It doesn't happen every day. And Hannah would still be here today if these neighbors would have just said, it's not my problem. Now, to show you how evil these two white women were. And that's what they were, 2 evil white women. They tried to cover their situation that Hannah created up by making her write a letter back to them, saying, dear Donna, Bruce, whatever, I stopped this morning because I feel awful about disturbing your peace and worrying you in the middle of the night. This child was horrified and at her last wit in dealing with these 2 white ladies. So it didn't matter what time of the night it was. She didn't want to deal with them anymore. And that's the way you get when you are being abused. You tap out. I was very frustrated with my brother and didn't handle things very maturely. And I'm sorry for telling lies to get attention. She was telling the truth. So you see these 2 white women are telling you was telling lies to get attention. What kind of parents would sit down and make a child write something like this? I'm working on being more honest, finding ways to communicate my frustration. Then they threw in some information. I'm sad because 2 of our cats died recently. And I was just sad and frustrated last night. Thank you for being kind, Hannah. Tried to cover their tracks. Because what they didn't expect when they moved all the way down there was for those young children to tap out. For those young children to say, I am so done with this. I don't care who the neighbor is. I'm getting out of here. And I'm going next door. And I'm asking for help. If you look at this picture of these 2 evil-ass white people, Sarah and Jennifer Hart. If you look over to the far left, you're going to see 3 little girls. One of those girls is Hannah. One of those girls is Hannah. And she almost saved the lives of the other 5. This is a heartbreaking story because 6 lives, 6 young people that just wanted someone to care for them and love them, were erased off the planet by 2 evil-ass adopting step parents who happen to be white women. It could have been black women. It could have been black men, white men. But in this case, do you see the smiles on Sarah and Jennifer Hart's face? The smiles. There's evil behind those smiles. Pure evil. Pure evil. Now let's take a look at what happened. It's unclear when the crash occurred. So the crash is these 2 women put these 6 kids in an SUV. Looks like they had given them some type of Benadryl, some type of drugs to oozy and woozy them up. But nonetheless, they weren't in full alertness as a child would be. They drove this SUV with those children in it off of a cliff. Now, it's unclear when the crash occurred, but the vehicle went over the cliff, smashed into the ocean, and so many of the bodies were found, but so many of the bodies were missing, never found, ever. Now, why? You want to know why? Because 3 days prior to March 26th, social services authorities in Washington opened an investigation that was apparently prompted by the neighbors' complaint that the children were making, that they were being deprived of food. That was the complaint. So I think the neighbors did the best that they could do, because mine is just snatching the kids when the parents aren't looking and holding them hostage. They couldn't control what came after the fact that they filed a complaint. These ladies consciously. Now, why couldn't you just take your white asses in this truck and roll your asses off the cliff into the ocean and just left the kids at the house unattended? You didn't have to leave a note. You could have just left. And if you did leave a note, just say you couldn't deal with the children no more. But you take your asses and ride off the cliff. Why stick all of them in the SUV to ride off the cliff with you? What sense did that make? These evil women, white women, drove off the cliff with all 6 children in the car. Because those neighbors did the right thing and tried to save those children's lives from those 2 evil-ass white women. These white women had already decided they're not even going to give them a chance to get these kids from them. They knew what they were up against because they had just got out of trouble from the last town they came from. But what they didn't do was change their behavior. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad that these 6 lives couldn't be here on the planet to make a difference. I see Devontae holding, he's the little kid with the hat on. I see him holding the police officer. And you think about this in your lifetime. How many times have you been in a world event and saw yourself in a picture? Something was very special about him, because there he is at an event, a protest for law enforcement taking a man's life, and here he is in a picture. Something was special about Devontae. And who knows what these 6 lives could have brought into this world. Positive energy. Who knows what they could have done. But if you look at this picture of human lives, none of these lives are here on the planet. These little girls, these 3 young men. If you don't want to take care of your child, then just leave your child. Just leave your child. Just leave it. Your child will be found, and someone will take the time to take care of your child. So you do whatever you have to do. Just leave your child. No one's going to be mad at you. No one's going to be upset with you, because we understand everybody can't be a parent. Everybody can't be a parent. Everybody can't be successful at parenting. But one thing I understand is to be an abusive parent is a choice. You choose to be abusive. And when you choose to be abusive, get caught and move away and then get back into your abusive modes with your children again, it's something that you choose to do. When you get a chance, go back and you look into this story, because it's completely heartbreaking. provided some details, but I didn't give you the meat. I just gave you the potatoes. And it's a blessing that we are here on this planet in 2026. There's many people on this planet right now that I don't think appreciate the fact that they're here. They're abusing their power. They're abusing people. And they're not appreciating life in general. But this picture right here just tells me in a very quick and efficient way that be careful. Be very, very, very careful as to who smiles in your face. Because behind that underlying smile could be the most evil person that you've ever met. ZZ109FM, this is Elsie Jenkins. Remember, look over your shoulder, look over your back. Don't trust none of these fools out here. They smile in your face and say that they'll take your card, ask you for money. You know what? This person has some evil intentions. You are not even a cart attendant, but you're going to come take my cart and then ask me for money. These people out here at Sam's Club that's doing this are evil ass people. You conjured up some way to get close to me in the parking lot. That's premeditated. And anyone that premeditates something and then carries it out is evil as hell. Evil as hell. ZZ109FM Talk Radio. This is Elsie Jenkins. Take care.